Imagine being cornered in a public market by 6 women twice your size,
screaming at your teenage daughter that she is going to hell for refusing to love her dead father's affair children. That's exactly what happened to me.
But what they didn't realize is that I had receipts. And once I unleashed them, their entire world came crashing down in the very church they used to weaponize against me.
If you've ever dreamed of serving cold, delicious justice to someone who tried to tear your family apart, hit that like button, subscribe, and get ready. Because today, you are about to hear one of the most satisfying revenge stories you will ever come across. My name is Sarah, I'm 46, and I've been through hell this past year. My ex-husband died in an accident.
But trust me, his death didn't end the pain because the truth of who he really was came out like poison spreading through my family. You see, my ex had been cheating on me.
Not just cheating, he had 2 sons with another woman. And when he and his mistress both died in the accident, my daughters, 17 and 15, were left to deal with the fallout of betrayal, loss, and humiliation. Worse, his parents, my ex-in-laws, decided to go after custody of my daughters. And on top of that, they expected me to just take in the affair children too. The audacity was unbelievable. But my daughters wanted nothing to do with them. They're in therapy, still healing from discovering their father's lies.
And I respect that. One Saturday, I took my youngest to the weekend market. It was her birthday, and instead of a big gift, I gave her money to buy whatever treats she wanted.
Chocolate, sweets, little joys. After about an hour, my phone rang. My baby girl's voice was trembling. "Mom, some weird ladies are cornering me. Please come." I ran, my oldest beside me.
And when I got there, my blood boiled. 6 older women faces I recognized from my ex-in-law's church had surrounded my daughter. They were wagging fingers in her face, spitting venom. "You're unchristian for abandoning your grandparents.
You're selfish for refusing to love your baby brothers."
My daughter's eyes were wide, her cheeks streaked with tears. She was shaking.
I shoved my way between them and my girl. My voice snapped like a whip. "Back off, now." I told my oldest to take her sister, pay for her things, and get to the car. But these women, they weren't done. They turned on me, calling me a disgrace, saying I was a failure as a wife, that I should still be obeying my husband as parents like a good Christian wife. I almost laughed. My husband was dead, and even when he was alive, he hadn't deserved an ounce of obedience. The fight escalated so loudly that market staff asked us to leave.
And as I walked to the car with my girls, these church women followed behind me like vultures, still spewing judgment.
That night, after tucking my daughters into bed, I messaged a friend who still attended that church.
He apologized for what happened, but told me something that made my stomach churn. My ex-mother-in-law had posted a massive sob story on the church's Facebook group.
According to her, I was cruel. I was abandoning them in their old age. I stole their son's money. And worst of all,
she twisted the affair into a surrogacy story. She claimed that I couldn't have more children, so my ex and his mistress had helped me by being our surrogate.
And that I rejected the babies because they were boys. Reading that, I felt bile rise in my throat. It was beyond disgusting. It wasn't just a lie. It was a character assassination of me and, worse, of my daughters. And the worst part, that night, lying awake, I stared at the ceiling with rage coursing through me. These people had harassed my daughters, humiliated them, called them bastards.
And now they were parading me through the mud to their church community.
But here's the thing my ex-mother-in-law forgot. I still had everything. The texts, the photos, the emails, the proof. Every ugly detail of my ex's affair and his parents' complicity. And unlike them, I wasn't going to hide behind lies. The next morning, I got to work. I went to a print shop and spent extra money to print everything in crisp, high-quality color. Photos of my ex making out with his mistress in our living room. Screenshots of his late-night text. Messages from his parents supporting the cheating. And the worst of all, texts where his parents called my daughters bastards and blamed them for their father's death just days after his funeral. I organized everything into neat, personalized binders. I even gave them decorative covers, like the church's hymn packets. And right on the first page, a giant photo of my ex passionately kissing his mistress.
Underneath, I wrote,
The next Sunday, I slipped those binders onto the desk where the church kept spare hymn books, and then I waited.
By that afternoon, the gossip mill had exploded.
Facebook lit up with furious comments. Some people were horrified. Some were gleefully dissecting every detail.
And many were condemning my ex, his mistress, and most of all my in-laws. The names they were called were so harsh the pastor himself had to step in,
Begging people to keep it civil. But here's the delicious part. Even though some still judged me for divorcing,
they now admitted I had understandable reasons.
and suddenly, my daughters, once slandered as cold and heartless, were being sent apology letters. One family even invited us back to church for support.
My ex-in-laws?
Finished. They were shamed so brutally they left the church entirely. My ex-mother-in-law posted on her personal page about how the elderly are abandoned and how she wished her son was still alive to care for her. But the irony? My ex never supported her financially anyway. I was the breadwinner. Their little sob story exposed for the fraud it was.
And my daughters?
They finally saw justice. They saw that their pain mattered, that no one could rewrite their truth and get away with it.
The most satisfying moment wasn't to even the gossip, it was the look on my daughters' faces when I told them what happened.
For the first time in months, they smiled. Really smiled.
They saw that their mom wasn't powerless. That lies could be crushed.
That justice could look like a binder full of truth left on a church pew. And to me, that was worth every second. At the end of the day, revenge didn't just shut my ex-in-laws up, it gave my daughters peace.
Sometimes, the best justice isn't just exposing liars.
It's showing the people you love that they're worth fighting for. If this story gave you chills, smash that like button and subscribe for more stories like this. And tell me in the comments, what's the most satisfying revenge you've ever seen? Because sometimes, karma just needs a little push.